Hey guys, this is Grant Coombs III, aka Balbomb, coming to you for another video from CardRunners.com. In this video, I'm actually going to be reviewing our Markuis's RCR Heads Up Pro Specialist play at 6 max. Both he and I were exchanging emails back and forth, and I was telling him that for the first time in a long time, I actually felt like I was at least break even or probably at a disadvantage playing heads up against regulars when trying to start tables, particularly because there was also a few regulars that I don't think are great, but also are probably heads up or very short-handed specialists who are trying to play heads up with me while I'm trying to start games. So we were exchanging emails back and forth, and I thought that it would be a really good opportunity for him to review and probably pick apart far more than I'm going to do my heads up game. And he said that he hasn't played much 6 max. And while I don't think he's as determined to play 6 max as I am probably to play more heads up, at the same time, I think that it could be a really valuable resource for the community with guys that I'm sure everyone out there, some players are primarily playing 6 max and some players are primarily playing heads up. So hopefully it can be a really great use to you to see the transitions and the struggles that we both have, and then also some of the really good things that Markuis brings along to his 6 max game. So as always, we're going to do 6 tables here this time. It's going to be table 1 in the top left. Top middle is table 2. Top right, table 3. Bottom left, table 4. Bottom middle, table 5. And number 6 is the bottom right. So let's get right into the video. In this video, Markuis, I think, plays for about 50 minutes. So to be honest with you, I don't know how many videos this is going to be split into. We'll see how interesting the discussion is. I can tell you that I have about 4 to 4.5 pages of notes, so it might actually be quite a while. Immediately, we'll start in the middle here with table 2. And throughout the video, Markuis is using a 4 big blind opening strategy in the small blind. And this has a couple of deficiencies that I don't particularly like. I think that it's probably going to be far too large because, one, I think it's going to make your 4-bet sizings quite awkward, and it's going to limit the amount of times that you can 4-bet bluff. Therefore, I actually think it's going to be much to the advantage of your opponent to be 3-bet bluffing you quite a lot. The second and critical thing is that I'm not sure it's going to change his range all that much. It might literally for just this session, but if we were to continue going playing regulars and playing these sessions over and over again, I think that because you aren't changing your opening strategy, I think if I had to guess, he's probably opening about 2/3 of his hands in the small blind. And if you're doing that, then that's pretty much the strategy that someone that's opening 2.5 or 3x is going to have, with the added problem that you're putting more money in out of position. I'm pretty sure that the intended consequence here is that he's a heads-up player and knows more than anyone the advantage of playing in position. Therefore, he's thinking, I don't want to do this all that often, and therefore I want to make it bigger so that I can discourage my opponent from calling. I think what's going to happen is what happens a lot of times in small blind versus big blind situations is that the ranges both are pretty wide, and the players just go with it, and therefore I think most regulars are going to understand, even though this is a little bit bigger, there's a lot of things that they can do in position or by 3-betting him that are going to give him a lot of difficulties. We actually see an example of why this comes up later in the video. The flop comes here on table 2 with ace, queen, 6, and this is one of the few situations where I think like giving up more than just about anything. I think it can definitely be... I think if you had a 100% c-bet strategy on this board, small blind versus big blind, that wouldn't be a terrible situation, but I think that he's going to have so many Broadway cards early on in the session calling with 4x, and he might not even want to get rid of a hand like pocket 9s for 1 bet, that I think a c-bet is just sort of wasting money. What I actually like doing, I think, in this situation is giving up, but if it goes check on the turn as well, probably firing a bet to get him off 6x or something like that. Instead, we opt to c-bet here, and this is probably just a little bit of a wasted c-bet. I don't see a ton of hands that we can actually fold that he would call. He'd probably call with 9-8 suited, 8-7 suited, 10-9 suited. So I guess there are a few, but I don't really even anticipate him folding a hand like Jack-10 suited or King-Jack suited. Therefore, I just think it's going to be far too often that that we're going to come up with a situation that actually happened here where we just check fold quickly the turn.